Okay, welcome parents. We have a new narrator today, Christian, because Callahan is absent, and so he's filling in, and he's doing a great job. So we're so glad y'all are here. This is exciting. If everyone will come out and let the narrator introduce you. Hey, Ginger, get over this.
Briar Rose is Britain, the king is Jesse, the queen is Elizabeth, the prince is Wit, the wicked old fairy is Gabe, the youngest fairy is Hannah, the fairy number 1 is Zoe, fairy number 2 is Amaya, and fairy number 3 is Ginger.
Okay, everybody take their spots. Places, please. Use the microphone first. Let's see.
Scene 1, in the castle. Once upon a time there lived a king and queen in a faraway kingdom. For many years they had no children. Then to their joy the queen gave birth to a little girl.
She is so beautiful, we shall call her Briar Rose. We will give a great feast in her honor. It will be her naming ceremony. We will invite all the lords and ladies in the land as special guests. We must invite for good fairies to be our little Dr. Godmothers.
The naming ceremony was a wonderful occasion. Everyone was very happy as they gathered around the cradle.
I will give the gift of joy. I would give the little princess the gift of kindness. My gift to Briar Rose is wisdom.
Just as the youngest fairy was waving her wand over the cradle, the door to the great hall was flung open. In came the wicked fairy.
Why didn't you invite me? Why was I left out? I'll even get in with you. I'll get even with you. The princess will prick her finger on the spinning wheel and die.
Everyone gasped in horror as the wicked fairy stormed out of the great hall.
I have not made my wish yet. I cannot undo the spell of another fairy, but I can change it a little bit. This is my wish for the beautiful princess. If she pricks her finger on the spinning wheel, she will not die. She will sleep for 100 years instead. This cannot happen to my daughter. I order that all the spinning wheels in this castle to be burned.
The little princess grew up without knowing what a spinning wheel was. As the years went by, every wish that the good fairies made came true. Briar Rose grew wiser and more joyful every day. She was always kind and loving. Those bushes, as beautiful as the young princess, bloomed around the castle. The king and queen hardly ever thought about the wicked fairy's wish. Scene 2, the castle, 16 years later.
Today is my birthday. I'm so excited about the party. I can't stay here in my room.
Briar Rose ran along the castle passages and up some winding stairs. She came to a little room at the top of a narrow turret.
I have never been here before. I will just turn the key and peek inside the room.
To her surprise, Briar Rose saw an old woman who was really the Wicked Fairy sitting beside a strange-looking object.
Come in, my dear, come in.
What are you doing?
I am spinning. Come over and try.
As Briar Rose reached out to touch the spinning wheel, she pricked her finger on the spindle and she fell to the ground. The Wicked Fairy gave a nasty laugh and disappeared out the window. In the meantime, the birthday celebrations were about to begin.
Where is Briar Rose? We cannot start the celebrations without her. Where can she be? We shall have to go and look for her.
The king and queen and all the ladies in waiting searched the castle. At last the king, to his horror, found Briar Rose slumped on the floor beside the spinning wheel in the little room at the top of the winding stairs.
Oh no, the Wicked Fairy has carried out her curse. I cannot wake Briar Rose. I will carry her down to her rooms and have her ladies in waiting dress her in her finest gown. She will sleep for 100 years.
The youngest fairy knew that the Wicked Fairy had carried out her curse. She came to the castle at once.
All I can do is make sure that everything in the castle is unchained when the beautiful princess wakes up from her long sleep. Now I will put everybody in the castle to sleep. First the king and queen, then the lords and ladies, now the servants and the cook.
The youngest fairy put every living creature inside the castle walls to sleep. The horses in their stables, the dogs in their kennels, and the mice in their holes.
Now that every living creature in the castle is asleep, I will leave the castle to slumber for 100 years.
The youngest fairy disappeared, and all was quiet and still. As the years went by, the trees and bushes grew higher and thicker around the castle walls, until the castle was hidden from sight. But the beautiful briar roses in the castle gardens bloomed inside the castle walls. Scene 3, the castle 100 years later. 100 years later, a handsome prince heard about the legend of the sleeping princess.
Many other princes before me have found the castle where the princess has been sleeping, but they have not been able to cut down the tangle growth that surrounds the walls. I am determined to succeed where they have failed.
At last, the prince found the thicket that surrounded the castle, and he began to slash at the plants.
I cannot believe this. The bushes and bramble and wild roses are parting, making a passage for me to ride through.
The castle door swung open with a loud creak.
The legend is true. Everyone here in this castle is asleep. The cook is asleep, the servants are asleep, and over there the lords and ladies are asleep.
The prince walked along the dusty passages until he came to the room where Briar Rose had been sleeping for 100 years.
The princess is so beautiful.
The prince went over to the bed and knelt beside her. As he took her hand, she opened her eyes and looked at him.
I want to marry you, Briar Rose.
At once, everything in the castle began to stir. The king and queen, the lords and ladies, and the servants woke up and yawned and stretched. The cook stoked the fire and went on preparing food for the feast, as though she had never been asleep. Outside in the castle grounds, the birds began to sing. Dogs could be heard barking, and the horses moved restlessly in their stables.
The wicked fairy spell is over.
The handsome prince married Briar the sleeping beauty, and together they brought great happiness to all who lived in the kingdom.
They'll stand there for a minute because I bet they want to get some pictures. Okay. Y'all smile. How about actually Prince and Briar Rose together? Prince and Briar Rose, why don't y'all step forward for a second?
Look over here.
The sun.